Joel, Nick talked to us after the game about how he was encouraged by like the aggressiveness and the frequency with which you were driving. I guess is that a mindset thing? Is that about having trust in your body? Like what goes into you being a more successful driver?
It's a little bit of both. I was just obviously a lot of times I had to do a little bit more than usual, and but I think I've had the last quite a good 3 or 4 days. Just walking every day and trying to get back in the rhythm, and I think that's what it comes down to.
What have these last few days entailed for you? What have you been doing to get better?
Working every day, being on the court, being consistent. Obviously, it's easy to be consistent when everything is going well physically. So just being able to do that, then I just trust in that.
Joel, how did it feel to have a game like tonight?
It's whatever. I think we got the win. That's all that matters. I think it's a lot of you got to stay balanced. Just made shots today. Those are the same shots that I missed against the Lakers. It's all about making shots. You make shots, you lose good. You don't make them, you lose bad. So I don't. That's why I don't really. We won, so that's all that matters.
How important is it to just be able to get into a rhythm, see a big basket, see a couple of shots fall, just kind of stack off of that a little bit?
Super important. I used to pride myself on taking off, 3 months and coming back and doing the same thing. So it's a little adjustment so far, but getting there. I think confidence is a big thing. Mentally, that's where it starts. Being in a good place, so just gotta build on it and keep getting better.
Tyrese was obviously shouting you out from home on social media just to get that support from him. Just what does that mean to you?
It's good. Obviously, I called him after the game to check on him, see how he was doing. So we miss him, obviously. The game would have been much easier to play. It's that good. So we just gotta do what we can. He's been doing. He deserves it too. Kind of getting that rest and kind of reset a little bit. He's been doing a lot for us, so hopefully, that made him happy.
How do you feel like I guess a 2-man game is coming along between like you and VJ?
It's good. We're in a good spot. I think he understands. Starting to understand. I mean, he knew how to play basketball, but NBA level basketball is a little different. So he's starting to understand a little bit, and then obviously talking to him every day about what I see, what he sees, and going off of that. I like how aggressive he was, early on today. I need to keep going, whether I'm playing, Tyrese is playing, or everybody else playing or not. So attacking the rim, being confident in the shot, shot ability.
Is there any relief that comes with that step back for you just before halftime? It's been a bit of a rough patch.
Not necessarily. I think out of all the threes that I make, that's the one that I'll make the hardest one off the dribble. It'll be fine. I think something hasn't felt right with my hand lately, so I had a couple of days to recover and put in some work in with my guy, Drew. So I think just having that consistency on the court helps a lot. But it's just a little thing, my finger. But that keeps getting better.
I know the biggest thing is it's always like you just said, at least you got the win. But does this kind of serve as like a reminder to everybody to be like, hey, I'll still do this?
I don't know. That's up for those people that don't think I can do it. But I can't change their mind and opinion. Feels good. Obviously, playing like that, I feel like I can do it. I think the dynamics is obviously different at times. And I want to play more as a team. So making sure everybody is involved. So if someone has to sacrifice, I will. But in some occasions, where I got it going or nice like tonight, it's gonna happen. So I don't expect having to do this when everybody's healthy, but I will if I have to.
Nick has talked about using these last couple of days as a team to really work on kind of crunch time, late game type situations. You guys were able to extend the lead during that period tonight. Just what do you think worked well, or just what you do that?
I don't even know if they scored more than 10 points in the last couple of minutes. So it was just being on the floor. I know Fowler hit the three. Other than that, I don't remember him. I fired the 3-point shooter and made 2. Other than that, I don't remember them, scoring anything else. So start on defense, and then offensively, just taking our time, seeing what's available, running the plays, being focused. Obviously, that's been a point of emphasis the last few days, especially the last 2 days. So got to keep building on it.
Obviously, it could be a tomorrow answer, but how do you feel that you came out of tonight with the minutes and the usage? I mean, how do you think you came out of it physically?
I feel great. Obviously, I said it last time. They got me on the schedule of, having 2 days off between every game. So, we're going to talk about it, and, I feel great. So, it's up to them. So, if I can't, I'll fight for it. If I can't, I'll play. But if I'm not allowed, or if I can't, then it is what it is. But I feel pretty good. But obviously, you got to wait and see, how everything goes. But based on what I've been doing the last 4 days, I haven't really taken any breaks. I've been consistently pushing it, and felt pretty good. So
You mentioned on the broadcast
a few more.
your teammates in the group, how good you feel about the group. How much does that help you mentally, just to kind of help you push through and get to this point?
It helps a lot. Obviously, when the vibes around you are positive, that helps a lot. I won't lie, last year I wasn't happy all the time coming to work because of everything that was going on, whether it was on and off the court. This year it's a little different. I mean, I got a great group of guys. I'm happy to come in here and look at everybody and just be happy, and that helps a lot. Having that stability, off the court where you look at the guy next to you, you want to, always, joke around, talk to him, and hang out, and being on the road and just chill, and that goes a long way. And I love all these guys, this locker room, and and that helps me a lot.
What did you make of VJ's night tonight, and how big of a lift did he guys give you, particularly without Tyrese?
Big lift. Big lift. He was ready for the moment. Tyrese goes down. He stepped up. He was huge. He was aggressive. He was assertive. We talked a lot on the court, just getting floor balance and being on the same page to close the game out. And I thought he was great down the stretch.
This is the second time recently that they've really put the ball in your hands, primarily in the fourth quarter of that Milwaukee game last week. I guess just does your mindset change at all during those moments? Like, what are you looking for as you try to strike a balance between hunting your own shots and trying to create for other guys?
I'm comfortable with the ball. I think more than anything, it's just continuing to prove to myself and remain confident, as I continue to trust my body, gain confidence on the floor, that my body can still, produce. And, so it's just adding to the confidence and just chipping away at the work put into the season so far to get ready for the season. So, I feel good down the stretch. I feel good tonight. Just trying to piggyback off that.
When you see what Joel was able to do tonight, knowing everything that he's had to kind of battle through in order to get to this point, how to kind of feel just as a teammate, being able to see him erupt kind of a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. The people don't understand how much work, he does and how much goes in just to his day-to-days of getting prepared and getting ready for games. I talked to him and he's got a list of, he's a hard worker, man, when it comes to taking care of his body and trying to do whatever it takes to get on the floor and be available for us. So, we appreciate all his efforts and, just happy that it showed out, got back to his usual self with tonight's game.
Just how did you just kind of make his performance tonight? Kind of seemed like it was he was probably the best he's kind of moved, all year.
I'm happy for Joel. I'm really happy for him. He sold on 40 points that I'm gonna consistently remind him about. But like I said, I'm really happy for him, man. He's showing us that, he's showing y'all, to be honest, that he's still, what I'm saying, ain't nothing's wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like, on the basketball, like, the only thing is, health, which is unfortunate. But, he's still a great player. He's still a great player regardless of, the different, things, obstacles you have to face. He's still a great player, still an MVP caliber player in this league. So, yeah.
You had 14 of your 22 in the first quarter. I guess just what did you feel like was working for you early, and does it boost your confidence at all when you, like, I know you don't really lack confidence in general, but does it give you any sort of boost mentally when you get off to a hot start like that?
Yeah. I'll be honest, yeah. You get to see shots falling, without forcing it. It's great. It's great, especially on the mental side of it. Like I say, I've been having a couple little rough games or little inefficient games. Tonight to see shots go through the rim, it felt great.
With Tyrese out, I guess how did that maybe affect your mindset or anything like that going into this one?
I know I have to be a little more aggressive. I have to be the table setter. So like you said, with Reese out. So I just try to make the game easy on Joe and P and, Q, Jared, Dom, all my teammates. Let's try to make the game easy for them, take less load off of them. That's what it was for.
You've had quite a handful of on-ball reps through the first quarter of the season, I guess. What has the progression looked like for you there? What have you learned? What are some of the things that have been maybe more challenging than you realized?
To be honest, I enjoy it. I enjoy, just trying to set offense, some of that, especially when I have elite players around me. I enjoy it. They make it easier. So I won't say it's been really tough times because I'm surrounded by great players, and they make it easy for me because all the attention is on them. I'm blessed to just be in this position. They've given me the ball. They Joel, P, even when Reese on the floor, they'll tell me to get the ball. So it just showed they trust me a lot, and then that goes a long way, especially for me being a rep. My vets and my the superstars of the league. They trust me. So yeah.
Nick just mentioned he's excited about you shooting some more transition threes recently. I guess just what has gone into that, and have you talked to him about that being something he wants you to do more often?
To be honest, we ain't really talk about it, but the shots were there. Instead of just forcing, try to make a layup over one or two people. Why not just shoot a wide open three? And tonight, like I said, they fell early in transition, which was helpful for me to get to the rim. They had to close out, and then I was able to get to the rim and do what I do best.
Thank you, Joel. What worked for him tonight? And, was it just as simply as him getting into an offensive rhythm?
I think so, but he worked at it this week a lot. I think the practices helped his own individual work away from practice. Certainly helped, which is a great sign that he's doing that and feeling good or better-ish to do some of that. I think that was it. I think, again, I keep saying he's best when he's driving. And I thought he drove it a lot to draw the fouls early. That puts them in a tough situation of how to play them. And probably the best thing was about it all. 39's great, but it came in a lot of different schemes they threw at him, and I thought he read the different stuff pretty good most of the night. Yeah.
You mentioned you utilized the week and put in the work. Just what what did you observe as far as individual stuff? How were you trying to use them in practice? Like what sort of allowed that set up? What do you
Nothing's really changed with how we're trying to use them, Gina. I mean, I think it's, yeah, did we throw in a couple little wrinkles to things, but it's not anything majorly different than before. And, we want to move them around. We got some left side block post plays. We got some right side. We got some mid pick and rolls. Obviously, I thought we did a good job in the guts of the game to go into our side pick and rolls and getting our pieces in the right spot. And he was directing some traffic. I mean, Barlow had some cutting plays there, and Joel was kind of, telling Barlow, get there and get ready to cut. And, and obviously that gives him confidence too. So the variety, which is what I'm always trying to continue to seek. Yeah.
I guess piggybacking off that, what have you seen out of that front court combo when they have been able to play Barlow and Embiid?
Yeah, it's good. I think it's a great pairing. I think Joel needs that guy. A cutter or slasher type guy around there. Again, you can't just have everybody stand on the perimeter. You got to try to get some baskets at the rim versus double teams, or at least you got to sink the defense so the perimeter is a little more open. Kelly, when Kelly's here, it's like, Kelly gets those cutting baskets from Joel, so it's kind of similar, and it's good that, again, Barlow made some good reads and good finishes, and it just gives you, a little mixture, one slasher and then shooters spaced around. Yeah.
You talked before the game about VJ being able to do a lot more than just scoring, but this was his first 20-plus point game in almost a month. I guess just how good was it to see him?
He was great tonight.
First quarter, and what was working for him in general?
Well, I just think he got himself mentally prepared to understand he needed to provide a kind of a complete package tonight, and he got aggressive early. Some of the stuff we tried to polish up got him some baskets early, some execution out of some press breakers and things like that we've been working on. So I think that got him going. I love the pull-up threes and transition. That just shows how confident he's playing. I mean, those look awesome when we get that fully integrated into his mindset. I think that's a huge weapon. But he guarded good. He took care of the ball, ran the team good, and he obviously got us off to a great start in that first half of the 18 big ones.
When you know Tyrese is not playing, is there any particular conversation you have with VJ about his expanded responsibilities in this game and what you need from him, like the full package like you were just describing?
My conversations were more like, let's see what you can do, right? Be aggressive, man. Go for it. Yeah.
Paul had the ball in his hands a lot.
Yep.
What did you learn about the way that he was able to kind of, I think you see it late in the fourth quarter, directing people especially, but how he was able to control things on the offensive end?
Well, it's good. I think, again, he's showing that he is a guy who can score and create his own shot, right? Both from 2 and from 3. Again, if he's going to sneak in a few drives, which he had late, again, it's just going to make it all the tougher if he could score at all 3 levels. But I thought he did a good job of just, again, settling things down. He's an experienced player. He's got the ball in his hands, and again, it just comes down to make the right read. If there's nothing there, you got to go to work and score a big bucket. That looked pretty good tonight.
How encouraging is it for you to see both Joe and Paul be able to kind of be in tandem and play really well at the same time tonight?
Yeah, it was good. I think all of it, again, get too carried away here, but it was all good. I thought they were good together. And then there was a long stretch of the game where I was trying to separate them just, again, because of the minutes kind of restrictions. So I was trying to alternate them, which I think worked. I think it all worked really well. I think the times when Paul was out, Joel cared, and when Joel was out, Paul did his thing. So I think, and then the combination of them at the end, it's tough when I think they had a stretch where they scored eight in a row, and we're more worried about trying to figure out how we're going to get to the end of the game, and the game's getting pretty tough right in the moment, right? But again, I think the combination was good, and I think the solo, when they were on solo, was good.
You also talked about, Joel and Tyrese, how they had that two-man game going, how you wanted it, to expand to other players.
Mhm.
How did you think him and VJ work together, kind of tandem?
Good. Again, I think that the makes it hard to guard. I think if Joe sets a good screen, which he was doing a lot tonight, those guys got an ability to turn the corner, and they've got to do that. They've got to throw it in gear and go to the rim some, right? Because then that'll start opening up. Not only will that open up, put them in situations where we can throw back to Joe, but it'll also shrink the weak side of the floor, and we got guys that can shoot out there, right? So there's lots of pieces to explore there, but the ball handler's got to be aggressive too, right? And that's DJ. You saw him go down the lane a couple times, and you saw us kick it out to the weak side once or twice. And again, it's all about like having some variety, so it's not easy to defend. It's about making the read of how the defense plays you, and having guys get more in rhythm and more comfortable with doing that kind of same thing over and over and just making the right read.
A lot of the damage.
Last couple of questions.
First half was TJ and Nemhart getting downhill and then splitting the ball on opposite side
Yeah.
of the floor. I guess what kind of challenges did they impose for you guys?
Yeah. Listen, some of that stuff was just we weren't doing schematically what we really wanted to do. It was, and it's a little tricky. I'm not going to kind of go into detail and explain it. It's a little tricky. We just got a little confused there for a stretch of the game on what we were doing schematically, and that kind of threw the whole help defense and everything out of whack there for a minute. But I think we got that fixed a lot better. So that was the big thing. But again, those guys they're tough, man. They do that every night. They go past people and score buckets every night, and obviously McConnell does the same thing. That's the same game he has every time he comes in here, right? Dribble to a spot, ball up, score. And you're like, geez, what has he got? 30? Or feels like it, right? And then Nemhard's just been great for the last couple of years, right?